orgasmic is used in India in a different way than the way it is used in the West. Orgasm is not connected with sexuality. Orgasm is something that must happen on your cellular level. So every yogi is looking for an orgasmic existence, not for an orgasmic experience. All we know is, it is not physical in nature, but whenever we touch it, we become orgasmic, which is what they may be talking about as light, because when energy crackles, you may see it as light, not necessarily as light, but you may perceive it as light.
And the whole yogic tradition is that our minds, our bodies are just our biological bodies, but we actually have other bodies. We actually have other ways of expressing ourselves, and you can either perceive that or not perceive that. And I'm curious from the point of view, I mean, obviously science doesn't think too much of this because they're focused on the perception of biological body. But almost all the experiences that people have had recently because of modern medicine, the much more near-death experiences, NDEs as they call them, those NDEs that are experiences of light, and India has always talked about the light body. But we know from science that light is created by atoms with photons coming out. Do you think that this light body is composed of atoms with light coming out of them, and it's just a different structure, not biological?
Now now you're walking into your minefield rather walking me into your minefield. Because now what I say, you try to analyze it, or people try to analyze this with logical sense of what they have. We must understand our logic functions essentially from already pre-registered data in our minds. What you think is logically very correct, somebody will argue with you as if you're completely wrong, because their logic is saying something else. What is the basis of this? The kind of data that they have taken in is very different from the kind of data that you have taken in. So it doesn't matter who is saying what. The important thing is this: what you consider as my body, or what is your body right now, and what is your psychological framework right now, both these things, you did not have it in the same shape and form when you were born. When you were born, you were only this much, now you became a full-grown man. How did this happen? So, body is an accumulation that has happened over a period of time from the food that you've eaten. The food that you eat is just a piece of the planet that you walk upon, all right? So, most people do not realize this till you bury them. Only then they get the teaching from the maggots that they are part of this earth, otherwise they think they're from somewhere else. Just because we can prance around a little bit, we think we are not part of this, all right? You're just a small outcrop. Nature's magnanimity that it has given you an individual experience, otherwise there's nothing individual about you. Everything is gathered from elsewhere. From this borrowed impressions and borrowed body, you're walking around. If you recognize this, you would walk with utmost gracefulness and gratefulness to everything. Then you would look at life differently. Now, about this light, whatever people are talking about, near-death experience, whatever, instead of commenting on that, let me put it this way. If you have to gather this much body and this much mental structure, there must be something more fundamental, isn't it? Whatever that is, there must be something more fundamental. So one thing that people may be experiencing as light is, there is… in yoga we see that you have 5 layers of body. One is food body, it's called Annamaya Kosha, which literally means food body. The next one is Manomaya Kosha, that means it's a mental body. This is a software. Food body is the hardware, mental body is the software, without which even a single cell cannot function. There is an entire software where memories of evolution, genetic memories, perceptional memories, articulate, inarticulate memories, all kinds of memories are imprinted upon every cell in the body. That is why you are a unique individual character compared to somebody else, because there is a certain kind of memory in this. So that is the mental body. If hardware and software is there, will it function by itself? No, you have to plug it into quality power. That is called as the energy body or pranamaya kosha, which is what they may be talking about as light, because when energy crackles, you may see it as light, not necessarily as light, but you may perceive it as light. What is light is essentially… See, for example, because we were talking about owls, we think owls cannot see in the day. No, that is not their problem. They see too well. Their eyes are so sensitive that the brightness of the sunlight kind of blinds them out. It is not that their eyes are not good, their eyes are too good. That is the reason why they don't want to do anything in the day, because it's too much light. Right now, I am having that problem too, too much light. Camera lights, I mean to say.
It looks great from here. Maybe that's why one of the symbols of Athena is an owl. So which is see too much with wisdom. But it's interesting that you put it that way, because if we're all individuals and we're seeing this individually with our own impressions, how are we able to communicate with each other about the common ground? Obviously, you're communicating with millions of people about a common ground, and you're focusing on experience and how to gain a better perception about things. But we're trying to communicate with each other, even though we're all individuals. So there must be something in common, or at least we have some language or some way of trying to generate common experience.
See, in body, both of us are unique creatures, all right? In body, we are absolutely unique. If you look at psychological structure also, we are absolutely unique. Even if you put two people through the same experiences, they will come out with different conclusions and different way it influences them. So even children born in the same house, same genetics, same school, same food, but see how different they turn out. Parents cannot believe, are these two children ours? Because they turn out so different. So, in mind, in body, we are very unique. But fundamentally as life, life is fundamentally same. When I say life is same, I think I put this probably in the book also, you might have seen. I use this analogy usually to explain this complex issue in a simple way, is like you blow a soap bubble. When you blow a soap bubble, well, this is my bubble, this is your bubble, it is distinctly that, and we can compete which bubble is bigger than which and all this stuff. But if it bursts, then we don't say this is my air versus your air, because it all becomes one. So similarly, what you're calling as my life and your life is we've blown a bubble of our own. So the external characteristics are unique, and it's good, it's unique, otherwise there would be no transactional world. If all of us were absolutely same, what is the point of a conversation right now, I'm asking?
Yeah.
We are glad there is nobody like us, because one more person like you or me is trouble in the world.
Absolutely. and the problem with us…
One is all the world can take.
The problem with us is that we're enjoying causing trouble.
So the important thing is, I was talking about these 5 layers or 5 sheets of body. Physical body, which is called as food body; mental body, which is the body of impressions and memory; energy body, which is a certain amount of energetic framework upon which the physical and mental bodies are built. And then there is something called as Vijnanamaya kosha, which essentially means… Vijnan means… Today the word is being loosely used as science. Essentially, Vijnan means something that cannot be perceived with 5 senses, but it's there. So when you perceive that, that is called Vijnan. So there is something which cannot be perceived by the 5 senses. The energy body, the mental body and the physical body can be perceived by the 5 senses. The 4th dimension of the body cannot be perceived, but it's a transition between physical nature and non-physical nature. So there is a 5th body, which is called as the Anandamaya kosha. Ananda literally in English translates as bliss. but it's much more than that, it's more comprehensive. Another way of putting Ananda is, we can say it is ecstasy, or some people go about saying, because the word orgasmic is used in India in a different way than the way it is used in the West. Orgasm is not connected with sexuality. Orgasm is something that must happen on your cellular level. So every yogi is looking for an orgasmic existence, not for an orgasmic experience. Orgasmic existence, at every moment of his life, he is in a profound state of orgasmic experience, because it is a certain way of organizing your own chemical structure that you're always in that condition. So, it is not seen as connected to a particular act in life, but as a way of existence. So, this is called as bliss body or orgasmic body. So, why we are calling it this is, we do not know what it is. All we know is, it is not physical in nature, but whenever we touch it, we become orgasmic. So we are calling it orgasmic body or bliss body or ecstatic body, because when we touch it, we become blissful or ecstatic or orgasmic. We do not know what it is. All we know is, it's not physical in its nature. So we are talking about it from the context of our experience, not from the context of its content or its quality. We are not trying to describe its quality. For example, we say sugar means sweet. This is our experience. This is not the quality of the sugar. We feel upon our tongue. See, if you put sugar on a stone, the stone does not think sugar is sweet. Maybe many insects may not think it is sweet, but on our tongue, it is sweet. So from our experience, we say sugar is sweet. In that context, we are calling this as bliss body, ecstatic body, organic body, because we do not know its quality. All we know is when we touch, we are blissed out.
It's a very interesting way of describing it, because I haven't heard it described exactly like that before. But basically you're saying is that the three other bodies that are physical, when they touch this, what they experience in these three bodies is the bliss, as opposed
Yes.
to the consciousness itself as bliss. It's very interesting. Your description also, to talk about it from that point of view, we are all sharing, I mean, what is human civilization but an endless sharing of our experiences and what we think other people should do. Now, as you say, some people are dictatorial about it and tell everybody else this is what you must do. But in your books, you've said that. But it's interesting because, in a way, the Hugh Hefners of this world and the Don Juans of this world have gone around telling everybody to have a certain kind of orgasmic experience, a sexual orgasmic experience. And the yogis are saying there's something much better than that. And it has the same quality in your mind, but it also generates this enjoyment in your mind and in your internal thing. So let's assume, again, for the sake of the argument, that science will eventually be able to analyze the three levels that you said are physical, and that they're physical. So I assume that the description of reincarnation, moving from one body to another, is that you leave the biological body behind and you go with the other two. So I wanted to tell you one story about an NDE, a near-death experience that I found most entertaining of all, because most people have this this very strict idea about what's supposed to happen always. There's a man, I almost don't like telling you this story, because he went into a coma for 3 months because he got in a motorcycle accident. So.
Don't tell me the story now.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a motorcyclist. Actually, today after this meeting, I'm riding.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I better skip. No. So he goes into a coma for 3 months. and during the when he came out, he said he had been a follower of a Buddhist guru. And when he was in this near-death experience in the coma, that his guru came and explained to him that his life wasn't complete yet, that he must go back and complete the work of carrying on his guru's work. But he also met another being a more feminine spirit, who said, no, it's time for you to go to the next level. You should come with me. And he said that they basically argued for the whole 3 months over which one he should do, and eventually he came back. But I thought it was an interesting experience, because most people just say, I'm being welcomed, I'm being told to do this, but here there was an argument over it.
Well, about science coming to it, let me clear that fast. I must tell you this, that today we brought this forth with certain universities in America researching on people who have done simple inner engineering practices. After 90 days of practice, what happens? One of the things that they have said is, in 90 days of practice, your BDNF levels could go up to 300%. That means your mood and your experience is kind of fine. And the increase in the endocannabinoids is about 70% than what it was before. That means you're naturally blissed out. I'm saying we are creating a chemical soup. This is the most complex chemical factory. Now we are learning to manage it well so that being blissed out is a natural consequence. Science is coming to it. Now they have also opened a center named after me in the Harvard Medical School regarding conscious planet, about cognition, consciousness and compassion, they're calling it that way. But about this man, I don't like that it happened when he was on a motorcycle, but isn't it unfortunate, a whole lot of people come to more sense when they're in coma than when they're conscious and alive. About Buddhist master coming and calling him and this woman coming and calling him, that's typically American, okay? That's I think this guy must be from California.
He is very from California, absolutely. You got it right on the head.
So, that is fine, but what I'm saying is, you are near death all the time. It's not that it has to happen because you crashed your motorcycle or your surgery went wrong or something else. We're always near death. We are looking at life like this, the yogic way of looking at it, inhalation is life, exhalation is death. I think this book has not come to you yet. In the month of February in 2020, I published a book called Death, The Inside Story.
Yes. I have that one too. I was going to ask some questions. You beat me to the question, just go right to it.
So, I thought that's published only in India, I thought it's not in United States.
No, we have it here too.
Okay. So, the important thing is this. See, one dimension of life which has remained uncorrupted by human mind is death. You can say as many stories as you want, but if in your experience, if it was real, you would be willing to go when it's time, joyfully you would go. So the test whether really you had near-death experience and you realize something about it or not is, will you die with a smile on your face or not? This is a clear test, all right? For this, there is a pre-test which we can set up here. We call this the cobra test, because a cobra and a few other creatures have this sense, even the bees have this sense. They look at you only from the point of your chemistry. So, right from a very early childhood, I've been handling cobras and in India, this is a land of king cobras. You can go in the jungle and just pick up a cobra just like that, not holding him by his head and all this stuff. Just in the middle of his body, you can just pick him up. He will just come without any resistance. But if you show a little bit of anxiety within you, if you show a little bit of fear within you, he will go for you, because he senses danger from you. So he is only experiencing you as a chemical soup. So whether your soup is good or not, if you want to test, there's a cobra test. Or there's a death test when you die, will there be a smile on your face or not, because you transit from one dimension of experience to another in a comfortable manner. That can only happen if your experience of life in some way has transcended the physical accumulation that you have. I'm stressing on the accumulation because your body is an accumulation. What you gather can be yours, can never ever be you, isn't it? It's like saying, this cloth, this piece of textile is me. The same thing, this textile that you call as my body, which we wove together with so many things, now you think it's you, that is a fundamental mistake. Once you have made that mistake, then you're thinking up all kinds of things. Because the basis is wrong, it can never come to the right thing. So the important thing to see is, what is life, what is death? Don't think on those terms. What is you? What is the nature of your existence right now? If one experiences this, there is no life-death questions, it is all settled for once.
It's like how you drive your car is much more important than the car you drive, or motorcycle in this case. Your method of doing it, your decision making. And you also mentioned, I think in the Death Book about sleep.
I would like to tell you, in '70s and '80s when I was riding a two-stroke, single-cylinder, 250cc Czechoslovakian motorcycle. And today I'm riding modern machines and it's a world of difference. So the machine that you're riding also is very important.
Well, I mean, certainly you write a lot about how to work your body in order to have a better vehicle as well. But somebody can rework their body and then be very miserable anyway.
On a very highly sophisticated motorcycle, you can still crash and become comatose and imagine both a monk and a woman.